I just did this little short film of different vignettes.
Mm-hmm.
And the director is more beginning than advanced. Very, very sweet guy. And so we walked on the set the first day. Am I talking too much? Tell me.
Dee,
Well,
Dee,
I
I
get
don't think you're
going,
talking.
you know.
Dee, if anything, I'm not talking because I'm enjoying hearing from you.
Okay, all right.
Oh, please.
And so I
Never.
walked on the set and I said, all right, let's find the first part of this scene. Um, and I asked my co-star if she would, come in and do it with me. And not the director, but another person on the set stepped in and said, Dee, I need you to go here on this line, bend down on that line, turn on this. I went, wait, everybody just take a breath. Not the way I work.
Mhm.
Can we take a moment to find out what is natural and naturally moving in the scene? And then we can work. Well, we got to get this in 12 hours. So we can do it your way or we can do it our way.
Oh.
And the whole scene went,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I took a breath and I said, no, sir, I believe we can do it the best when we do it our way and we work together.
Mm.
And from then on, we just flew and everybody was,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of these sets with non-experienced and money challenged people,
Yeah.
they have to work very fast. And their whole focus then is on, we got to get the shot, move on. We got to get, well, if you get the shot and it's a shitty shot and you move on, when you
Right.
see it, you're not so happy you moved on, are you?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So one of the actors came up to me at the end of the day and he went, boy, did I learn a lot from you today. I said, what do you mean? You're a really good actor. And he said, oh, it wasn't about acting. It was about being on the set and,
Oh, that's awesome.
all the politics and everything. But I think everybody, the camera person, the director, your co-stars, even makeup and hair, everybody has to have the freedom to speak up
Mm-hmm.
with their ideas or their concerns or, you know, that's when you get really incredible, magical stuff.
Yeah, of course. Because as you said, you're allowing people to be creative.
Yeah,
You're not holding them in. That's
without a straitjacket on.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's exactly it. So you did so many shows. I mean, one that I noticed too was Chips, which I don't know if I've had anybody on my show that was on Chips. What was Chips like?
Well, it was kind of like what you would expect. The
What?
director had worked with Christopher, my husband,
Yeah.
and me in different projects and called us both and said, please come do me a favor. Will you come do this show for me?
Wow.
So we both said yes. Now, Christopher was very established in the business. He'd been around for years. And
Yeah.
so he proceeded to try to direct me in just about every scene we did.
Oh.
So
Hmm.
at the end of the second day, we had to drive back to the set together. And he said, so have you done anything I would have seen?
Oh my God.
And I had just had my episode of Lou Grant air in like 3 weeks before. And I mentioned that. And literally, I'm going to act it. He went, "Oh my God, you played the hooker." I said,
Wow.
"I did." He went, I I called my friend in and I said, "You've got to look at this girl. She's going to be a big star."
Oh, how
And I looked at him and I went, "So do you think you could stop directing me?" By the time I got home, and this was the day when we had answering services and beepers,
right, totally.
right?
Yeah,
And they were never supposed to give out your personal, well,
right.
Chris could get gold out of a beaver's butt. So
I love that line.
he got my phone and my cell phone and my address. And by the time I got home, there were 2 dozen roses waiting for me.
Oh my gosh.
And he called and he said, "I'd like to take you to dinner on Friday." I said, "Oh, I can't on Friday. I could Saturday." He said, "No, I have a standing poker game with my." I said, "All right, well, call me again. Maybe we can work it out." And there was this 1 second pause, and he went, "All right, never mind. I won't go to my game on Saturday. I'll pick you up at 7." And that's pretty much, we were together ever after that.
Oh, it was true love, like right out of the gates.
Yeah, it was just two souls that were supposed to come together, you know?
Wow. Wow. What a beautiful, I mean, I'm sorry that,
No, he was the sweetest, kindest, funny man. And so, of course, he always played these evil heavies, you
yeah, I
know?
can picture him like that. That's why I'm like listening to you and I'm thinking, wow, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Wow. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you had the time you did together because it's nothing to,
Oh, yeah.
that's
18
magic.
wonderful years
Yeah. What about
and a
another,
daughter.
oh, and a
What?
dot, yeah, is it Gabriella?
Gabrielle.
Yeah, Gabrielle.
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 Trumpeter for God, because it took me 6 years. She
That's
was our
awesome.
miracle baby.
And she's an actress too, is that correct?
She is an actress and a best-selling author.
Oh, wow. I
Uh,
didn't know about that
she
part.
has 2 books out. The first one is Eat, Pray, hashtag FML. But it's for anyone who has ever had challenges in relationships in any way, read this book. It will help you heal.
Oh, that's so cool that she went that
Yeah,
route too. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, she's carrying it on from your grandmother to your mother to, oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah,
Uh,
my grandmother would absolutely not love the F word that she uses to teach a
right.
lot with, but the principles are the same thing. Keep your heart open, love yourself, know what you want, you know. Guys, I just got to say this. We are taught not to love who we are. We're
Mhm.
taught to judge who we are.
Yep.
We're taught to belittle who we are. You know, the world can only match the signal that you send out to it.
Hmm.
The more you love who you are and acknowledge how awesome you are, the more the world and other people can acknowledge it too.
Oh, that's a beautiful way of putting it. I like that.
It's true.
Yeah. No, I
It's
would
how
agree with you on
energy
that.
works.
Yeah. I do agree with that. I think love yourself first, then you can do, yeah, more.
Yeah, who do we want to give everything to? The people we love.
Yep.
Are we ever on that list? Not until we become more conscious.
Yeah. Yeah. Really well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Hey, one other one, and I love it. I love it, by the way. I'm not belittling any of that. I think it's all incredible, and I'm with you 150%. But I am curious just because it's so weird, by the way. I got to tell you, as we're talking, these things come into my head, and I'm like, why am I? Taxi.
You're channeling, honey.
I think I am. What about
Oh, for
Taxi?
sure you are.
Yeah, what?
And again, everybody does or can. So what came in?
I'm just curious. Taxi, the show Taxi. Were you on
Oh
there? Am
yeah.
I correct on that?
Oh yeah, I did a wonderful guest star. on Taxi, where I was an actress,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Judd and I were kind of trying to hook up, and I go to California, right? Because I get a job.
Yes.
And
Yes. I know
oh my
this. I know
God,
this episode.
somebody just texted me. One of my former students just texted me. She said, Dee, we're binge watching Taxi and we just saw your fabulous episode.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
telling you, again, you see, working with Judd Hirsch was a blessing and a dream.
Wow.
It's the first sitcom I ever did.
Mm.
I had no idea that they would keep rewriting, keep asking you to try it this way, try this line. I came home and I called my agent and I said, I think they hate me. They keep changing everything. And he started laughing. He said, Dee, that's how they do it on a sitcom
Yeah.
because the writers keep working on. I went, oh, the little girl from Kansas, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Judd just I know one time the director wanted me to fall over the couch.
Oh, jeez.
And
Wow.
I looked at him and I went, I I don't think she would do that. I don't she's a sophisticated and Judd stepped in and said, she's right. Let me do it.
Oh my
Boom,
gosh.
over the couch she went, right? Um, but again, and this is from my mom, I trust my instincts. I
Mhm.
trust my authenticity. I trust my truthfulness. And so when something doesn't feel right in my acting, it literally feels like bugs are crawling all over me.
My gosh.
And I just have to speak up. It's like, no, uh, I, I am on a recurring on a show, and there was this very dramatic episode, and the writer wanted me to come in the first scene all hysterical.
Hmm.
And I said, look, I can do that, but it's not the truth. Well, what do you mean by that? And I said to her, look, that's not how human nature reacts. That's how in the movies sometimes we think they do.
Hmm.
Well, how do you know that? And I said, well, I walked in on my father who had tried to commit suicide in my bed the first time.
Oh my gosh, Dee.
And I walked in and there's this, wait, what is this? What am I seeing? Your brain can't assimilate.
Right.
But I saw blood and I calmly walked back into the living room and I looked at my mom and I said, Mommy, Daddy's hurt himself in my bed. 4 hours later, after they picked him up, after we knew he was okay,
Oh boy.
then everybody loses it.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and went, all right, we'll try it your way.
Mm.
And the scene where we find out everything's okay, my legs gave way, the tears came. I don't even know what happened to me.
Mm.
Um, but I know it was real
Yeah.
and authentic.
Yeah.
And so did they. She came in and she said, oh, yeah, thank you. But again, I have to tip my hat to the people who are open to this actor talking in terms of the character
Mm-hmm.
and not in, well, I think she would.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking had nothing to do with it. I knew instinctively how to play the different levels of those. And could I have done it without brilliant writing? And I said to the writer, you should be up for an award for this.
Wow.
It was written so well. And then you have to give it over to your actor and trust what they can bring in.
Mm-hmm.
And then give more notes if you need tweaking or something,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. That's yeah.
That's the true creative process for me.
Wow, that's amazing. What, by the way, how old were you when you walked in on your father?
I was a junior in high school.
Oh man. Wow, that I got to be honest with you, that like just sent chills up my arms when you were telling that. I felt like I was there. That's very intense. You know, I will say this, as as heavy as that background is, what I really love is that you, when you say you open your heart, you've opened your heart up to also letting that come into your work from, you know,
I learned it in my work first. I learned how to channel as an actor studying with Charles Conrad. And then when I really started channeling,
Mhm,
I went, oh my God, I've been doing this my whole acting career
mhm,
since Charles. I didn't know that's what I was doing,
right.
was channeling Mary in ET. And certainly, I mean, even Louis Teague in an interview, somebody said, what was it like working with Dee Wallace? And he said, look, I just sat back and watched her channel the whole performance.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
But I wasn't aware consciously of what I was doing. And once I became being conscious of it, then I could start teaching it and writing books about it. And I just did my 700th Sunday show
Oh my gosh.
teaching this work.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's incredible. I mean, I appreciate that because of obviously my show. You
yeah.
say 700, I almost fall off the chair. I mean, that's incredible. That really is. Are you by the way, on a whole nother note, we talked earlier about the Frighteners, and which I totally appreciated your openness, but I am curious because I was such a huge, and still am a huge fan of Michael J. Fox. What was the experience like working with him, especially at that point? Because he was, you know, stepping into something very different for himself there.
Yeah, he was having to fly back and forth to America. I learned this afterwards, by the way. Um, I only had, unfortunately, one scene with Michael.
Mm,
And what I remember was somebody yelled out a direction to me, and I went, oh, guys, please don't make me do that. I'm sorry, that's so typical. And Michael from the other, because he was behind a desk or something, and went, I've been telling him that the whole shoot. And I went, oh God, I stepped in it, didn't I? Um, so my memory of Michael was that he was very kind to me, definitely backed me up. And I think I had more dealing with him after the movie. Um, my husband died
that's correct. Yep.
during the Frighteners, and so I got very involved in working for the cancer, not the Heart Association,
Oh,
and doing charity work and speaking on their behalf for a while. And Michael and I would trade a lot of emails about whether he could help out and stuff like that. Very, very nice man. And wow, has he risen to the occasion?
Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
of
agree.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally just
And
taking it
it's
on.
exactly what my mom taught me. So I'm asking everybody in your audience, where have you given your power away to? A person, a disease, money? What is holding your story right now? When you move forward in joy and love to rewrite that story and write the story you want, you will start living more of the one you want than the one you keep telling. If you keep telling your story, you keep living your story
Mm,
because that's really a direction of energy, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, big time.
Brain science will tell you whatever you're focused on, you will create more of.
I do look at my life, and there's a lot of things that I can relate on that. So yes, I get it. I actually do get that. That's pretty.
It's pretty easy actually to retrain your brain. You just have to be very conscious
Mhm.
in every moment to do it.
How, I have a question for you. It just hit me.
Okay.
You're Dee, I love talking with you. My gosh, I feel, it's that old, like, I feel like I've known you my whole life, but I kind of do feel like that. But one thing, you have this, quote unquote, title as one of the Scream Queens because you've done so many horror films.
Yep.
And which is very ironic, by the way, because I wouldn't, as a person and as an individual, I would never in a million years throw you in the horror space or whatever. But
Hi.
well, no, just as far as I'm talking about, like, you're just such a kind person and all this. But what I was curious about is how did you? I mean, we're talking about the Howling, Cujo, The Hills Have Eyes. How do you separate, or how have you been able to separate like those moments within the horror film and just go on being Dee? I know that it's called acting and I know all of that, but when you've
Well,
done
it took me a while.
yeah, you've done a
Quite
lot.
frankly, it took me a while to leave the character at the set,
Hmm.
and go home as Dee. My mom actually gave me letters years later that I had written to her while we were doing 10.
Hmm.
I didn't write those letters. Mary Lewis definitely wrote those letters.
Wow.
And I went, "Oh my God, Mom." And she said, "Yeah, I've just been waiting for the day to share these with you." But, the more I got into the horror, it was very clear that energetically I could not sustain staying in that vibration.
Right, right. That's what I was curious about.
Yeah. So, like everything else, you learn what you need to do. You learn how to BD.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes Christopher, who played my lover in Cujo,
Right.
and he'd ask me something and I'd answer him and he'd say, "Okay, could I talk to Dee, please? Because right now I'm talking to Don." And I go, "Oh yeah, that was kind of rude how I answered you, you think?"
Oh my gosh. Oh my
But
gosh.
that's why we were who we were, because we got each other and understood each other so very clearly, you
Did
know.
did you have a process then that like as in any actor, you're in the moment, you're there. As you said, you leave the set. Would you do any kind of like energy release, like through meditation,
No,
anything
I'd
like that
listen
to
to 60s music.
mm,
If I put on 60s music, I am back up and balanced
interesting.
like that. But Lanny, my guy, says to me all the time, "Oh my God, honey, more 60s. And I said, do you see how happy I am? He'll start laughing and he'll go, yeah, okay, it's worth it. It's worth it. Go ahead. Go listen to your 60s.
Heck yeah. Yeah, if that's gonna take you there. What I'm curious too, you've been, like I said, so many, I mean, the commercials, the films, I could never talk to you about all of it. It's just too much. But have you got any memorabilia or anything that you keep from these films, or do you just not do that?
I did for a long time. I had my cat dress
Oh,
from ET. I don't take I don't take a lot. First of all, you're not supposed to, but anyway.
well,
But
well, yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
um, and it's funny you asked that because I just was looking at my original Howling sweatshirt.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, I bet there's a fan out there that would love that movie has such a huge
Oh,
following.
come on.
And and Joe Dante and I are going to do um, Texas Frightmare together.
Oh my
And I
God.
think I'm going to take that sweatshirt and see, if anybody would be interested in owning an original Howling sweatshirt.
Dee, let me answer that one for you. And we don't even have to put energy work around that one. The answer is yes. Believe me, people are going to be jumping through their drawers to try and get that. That's a huge one. Oh my gosh, people would love that. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, you put that one down for sure.
Yeah, I've had a few things over the years, but I've let go of most of them.
I gotcha. Well, Dee, kind of as we wrap up, I do this for almost every guest. Is are there? Well, first of all, what's coming up? What are you in? Presently that you'd want to just let people know. Any charitable organizations or anything that not that you're like, hey, give to this, but that means something to you. And
Oh
then
yeah.
your books, if you would, and where people can get them, and your website, all of that, please.
Okay. What was the first one?
How about we'll go with charitable organizations?
I I do a lot of donating to Save the Children,
Mm,
World Kitchen. I'm a big fan of their work and where they put their money and what they do. And anything that has to do with animals.
mm,
I do a lot of work for actors and others for animals and any organization. Um, and St. Jude. I donate a lot to St. Jude.
great ones, great ones. And then as far as where people can, your website, where they can, contact
Well,
you.
I have 6 books. I think your audience would be most interested in Bright Light and Born.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, Born, it gives you everything you need to know the formula for manifesting and it's so easy to read, guys. It's not Eckhart Tolle.
Mhm.
It's really easy
That was
to
great.
read.
It's not Eckhart Tolle. Okay.
You
I
can get
know.
them all on Amazon
Yep.
or my website. If you get them on my website, I will endorse it for you with my little Johnny
Wonderful.
Henry.
What say your website?
I am deewallace.com.
Oh, perfect.
Tough, huh?
Yeah, that's a really hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. And as far as upcoming projects or things that are out right now.
Oh my God. I have 3 films coming out sometime this year. I'm scheduled to shoot a very weird horror film sometime in February or March. We're not sure what the dates are yet. There's a lot. I also have a children's book.
Oh, that's right. Bup. I can't even pronounce it.
Bupalopaloo.
Thank you.
Bupalopaloo.
Thank you.
You know what's funny is a little kid can say it like that, and then we get all up in here. But
It's true. I can't do
it's really funny. So we call him Bubba for short. We're in talks with some wonderful people about turning that into a children's animated show, which would be my dream because it teaches all the principles of how to be powerful and create your own life.
it.
Don't we wish we had had teachings like that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember one thing I remember reading in about the Born summary too is that you were saying from age 1 to 8, that's when we get most of it coming in.
Your brain is locked in from
Hmm.
conception to 8 years old by what you're verbally taught or what's modeled in front of you.
Hmm.
And so we create our beliefs. And as you believe, that's the life you get. See, people think it's up to fate or, destiny.
Hmm.
No, you're the fate, you're the destiny. So if you're hitting a wall around anything that you want to create, look at what you were taught or what you watched
Hmm.
up until you were 8 years old. You'll see the walls that you, for example, my grandmother, as we know already how much I loved her,
Yeah.
I can hear her say, they're the rich people, we're the good people.
Oh, wow.
Well, how many of you have been taught when you were little, 8 or younger, money's fabulous. Money does great things for the world. Mommy and daddy love money. And do you know you can have all the money you want and do wonderful things? No,
Hmm.
hardly any of us got that.
Right.
We saw people struggling. If you come from a wealthy family, and I've done a lot of work with a lot of wealthy
Oh, I'm sure.
kids from they hate money because they saw money take mommy and daddy away from them,
Right.
and they didn't have mommy and daddy because of the money,
Right.
right? So the more conscious you get of your early age, the little kids are running the show, guys,
Yeah.
running the show.
I could totally see it. I one thing that came in by the way too is you also do personal coaching,
Oh
right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
do 3 or 4 a day.
And is that through Dee Wallace? Is that how they would
Yep,
contact you?
you can book a personal session, half-hour sessions with me. You won't believe. I can't tell you how many times I hear, "Oh my God, I've been in therapy for 10 years. We never got to this."
Hmm. Hmm.
So you'll know. You go into your own knowing. If you're so called to get the truth about something, you'll know if you want to work with me or somebody else.
Right. Fantastic. Yeah, I guess that's it. The only I think you're in I think The Nest, is it 13 Fanboy? Couple others I can't think off the top of my head, but I also want to put that out there in case anybody is also looking for doing
Yep. Yep,
that. Okay.
they came out last year or the year before. I can't remember.
I think they're on
You
Netflix.
know, I have I do so much
You do.
that I do them and I'm there and I'm present. And then when I'm finished, I'm back to doing private sessions or speaking or write. Oh, I'm writing my next book.
Oh,
You
jeez.
know what it's called?
No.
Horror stories from a life in horror films. Do you
Oh
like
my.
it?
Oh my gosh, I love it. And that is going to be huge. I would love, hey, can you come back after you write that and just talk about that? Because I'd
I
love to talk to you
will.
about that.
That's a deal.
Okay. All right, perfect. Dee, I will let you go. You have been more giving than I could ever ask for. So thanks so much for being part of this. It really was inspirational and I just
Thank you, John. It was a great interview. Thank you for all your research. It makes a huge difference.
Oh, please, you make it easy. All right. Well, thanks again.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye, everybody. Go love yourselves.
As always, thanks for listening, and please hit the subscription button and the notification bell so that you can be notified when I have a new episode. And also go check out some of my other episodes, like Jerry Mathers, Henry Winkler, Judy Norton, so many. Enjoy.